Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another matchup from Dreamhack Summer. This is the last quarterfinals match between Navi and Dignitas.
Navi's
Now, this is
turn
going to
to
be an interesting
ban.
match. Navi has recently been on a really strong hot streak, but Dignitas is definitely no slouch. And even though they are inconsistent, they definitely have the talent and the skills needed to pay the bills, i.e. take down some of the top teams in Europe. But still,
Radiant
they are relatively
trooper.
inexperienced in the land environment, and this tournament is greatly needed for them
Navi's
to
turn to
progress as a
ban.
team because I think this is probably the last major land tournament they're going to participate in before TI3. So it's good to get all this experience done right now before you have to really start playing for the big bucks on the big stage. So
10
we have to see
seconds
how both teams
remaining.
perform. My money is definitely going to be on Navi to win because they have definitely
5
had a lot more
seconds
experience and they've been
remaining.
performing really well recently. But we'll see how Dignitas responds as they
Reserve
do not have
time.
first pick, so they're going to ban out the Bow Rider. And we'll see if they eliminate some of Navi's trademark heroes. Kuroki Rubik, although that has not really been trending up these days, maybe Visage, maybe even Gyrocopter since Navi do have the first choice. And Gyrocopter is, of course, Vos' go-to carry. So we're going to have to see how Dignitas plays this out. Keep in mind, Dignitas do like to play a bit passively for the early portions of the game. They pick greedy lineups, and the way they win is just to overpower other teams in the mid game with their superior
Radiant
experience
team
slash,
ban.
I guess, stronger mid game heroes in general. But Dignitas is definitely one of the teams who experiment with the tree, so Navi gonna ban out the tree. A smart ban, in my opinion. And meanwhile, Dignitas, we're gonna have to see how they respond. Will they decide to ban out a
10
hero like Nyx
seconds remaining.
Assassin? Gyrocopter is gonna be my best bet if Dignitas do not want to
5
face it on
seconds
Havost.
remaining.
Because I'm pretty sure Navi will try to snatch up the Gyrocopter ASAP for Havost.
Reserve time.
But they're going to get rid of the Chen. They really fear that puppy Chen in a
Navi's
land
turn to
environment.
pick.
And Dignitas, since they do play a bit passively, Chen can really take advantage of them with his really aggressive nature in the early stages of the game, not only through his ganks, but also through pushing towers and gaining a lot of map control. And if you give Navi an inch, they will take a mile in the early game. But Navi, they're going to pick up the Gyrocopter
Radiant
for Hobos.
team
This is
pick.
completely expected. And we're going to have to see how Dignitas responds. Likely going to pick up a Darkseer for Universe at this rate, or perhaps a Lifestealer choice, as either of those heroes can work quite well with Universe. But we're gonna have to see. They're gonna pick up Darkseer for Universe, and they're gonna pick up Jakiro rather than wait for Navi to ban it out because of the second ban
Radiant
phase happening
team
just at the
ban.
first two picks. So now they have the Vacuum into Ice Path combination. They have a really strong team fight set up, and they have two tanky heroes for the most part. Although Jakiro is really immobile and doesn't really need that much fun to be that effective though.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
I don't imagine either team will ban out the Leicester because Universe already
5
has his hero
seconds
and Host already
remaining.
has his hero. So I don't think Lifesteal really has a place in this game. Maybe Lone Druid could
Reserve
potentially be
time.
banned out by Dignitas if they want to get rid of it for Funnick, but usually when Dignitas on the dark side, they always put in the off lane. When Dignitas on the Lone Druid, they always put in the off lane. So I don't think Lone
Radiant
Druid or
team
Lifesteal will
ban.
be making appearance in the picks in this game. And Navi, very smartly done, gonna eliminate the Naga Siren, so they're gonna get rid of that ridiculously powerful team fight setup, Milan Dignitas. Knowing that they might go for a bit more team fight potential, gonna eliminate some of the split pushing power that Navi
10
could potentially
seconds
throw their
remaining.
ways. But so far, these picks are very standard. I've
5
got to
seconds
imagine that
remaining.
Kuroki will take care of the Nyx if he can't get his hands on a Rubik. And I think Rubik here would be a decent choice, but
Navi's
we'll have
turn
to
to
wait and see,
ban.
since Rubik has seemed to have faded out a little bit in terms of top tier supports. He doesn't really deal that much damage until he does hit that level 6, and I think that's really the main reason why he has faded out a little bit. But yeah, if you manage to steal a spell like Ice Path, a spell
10
like Vacuum or
seconds
Wall, that could
remaining.
really set up Gyrocopter as well as Nyx Assassin very well. So
5 seconds remaining.
I guess Navi, they'll probably keep their options open as Dignitas ban out Queen of Pain.
Reserve
Don't really want to
time.
have Dendi just trampling them in the mid game with Queen of Pain's incredible burst damage power. And Navi, keep in mind they do not have the first pickup after the second ban phase ends, so this could open up a puck choice for Dignitas or some other mid solo that does have problems against Queen of Pain for the most part in that middle lane matchup. So we're going to have to see how Navi decides to go about this. Keep in mind Dignitas, one of those teams who likes to pick up some unusual heroes. They have really been favoring Morphling quite heavily in this tournament, as I think they've picked him up in 2 of the group stages, 2 out of 3 matches, so I think Morphling could
Radiant
be a likely
team
choice for
pick.
Dignitas in this situation, and that's pretty interesting because Morphling has recently seen a lot of
Invictus.
playtime as of late, just because of the base attack
Navi's
time nerf, or
turn
maybe
to
it's
pick.
because some of the other harder carries were nerfed so hard and Morphling does farm relatively quickly compared to other carries. And once he gets going, Morphling is still really annoying to deal with. But Dignitas is going to pick up the Enchantress, and that leaves Navi to pick up the puck themselves. So Dignitas, they have their support backline. Now they need their carry as well as their mid hero. And it's likely that they're going to pick up their carry for AUI 2000. I don't know. They could pick up either hero. Maybe mid hero would be a bit more safe, so Navi couldn't ban out another mid hero with their last ban. But still, Dignitas have a couple roles to fill, and we're going to see how they fill it.
10 seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, with Dendi on the puck, most likely in the gyrocopter, and Nick's assassin going to likely be handled by Kuroki. Navi still needs a hero for Puppy as well as Funnick. So I'm not too sure how many heroes Puppy can play left in the pool. Well, I mean, he can play so many different heroes, but not really too many of his trademark heroes. Maybe something like Alina or Bane could potentially be useful. Well, maybe not so much Bane, because, I mean, what will Bane actually do in this game? But Navi needing a Funnick hero is definitely got to be a top priority at this rate, since Dignitas have eliminated a couple of the offlaners, and there are not really that many strong offlaners left in the pool. There are heroes like Clinks, but I don't know how well Clinks fits into Navi's lineup. And Clinks has not really been that popular recently, so we probably won't see a Funnick Clinks in any case. And just judging by the lane situation, Dignitas will most likely run a defensive challenge with Way Too Sexy farming up ASAP on the Enchantress. And Dignitas is going to pick up the Doom, and this is likely going to be a mid-solo Doom for Snaking. And we're going to see how Snaking decides to approach it. In his previous match with Doom that I casted, he played a Caster Doom. But in this game, he might be need to tank a bit more, since Navi does have a lot of damage. They're going to pick up the Bounty Hunter, so Navi planning to go super aggressive with our lineup, and we're going to see how this works out. But I think this really helps set up a Morphling pickup really easily for Dignitas, since Morphling, the only way to really shut him down is, I guess, Nyx and Puck, but Bounty Hunter doesn't really do too much against Morphling, and if you manage to get a Lincoln Sphere online, Nyx Assassin doesn't do nearly as much either. So, considering that Dignitas does favor Morphling quite hard, I'm fully expecting them for them to go for the Morphling. They're going to be at the Rubik makes a lot of sense, since Navi still need their last support, and they could potentially pick up Kuroki, or pick up Rubik for Kuroki, but we're going to have to see. But I fully expect Dignitas to run the Morphling. They have been shown that they are very comfortable with this choice in the group stages thus far, as Navi going to be at the Pugna. So maybe Navi were fearing an alliance 5-man push strategy, but that is just simply not Dignitas' style, and I don't think this Pugna ban really makes much sense at all. So this is probably going to be a Morphling pick, or some other carry similar to that nature, but my money's going to be on the Morph, and we're going to have to see how Dignitas decide to choose their hero for AUI 2000.
10 seconds remaining.
Navi, with a lot of the sports having been eliminated from the pool, they're likely going to pick up some range support, something like a Lina or a Leshrac, similar to that nature. And there's the Morphling choice, like I predicted. I mean, it was pretty obvious considering how much Dignitas have been favoring him recently. And Navi actually going to pick up the Visage. I wasn't anticipating that just because I'm pretty much used to seeing Visage being banned out, but Visage being picked up by Navi going to throw out a lot of damage, and this might lead to an aggressive trialing scenario for Navi, as now they have a lot of damage thrown out on their side. They have a stun potential, and Way Too Sexy, since he is a jungler, won't likely be in the lane all too often, so that will severely restrict AUI's farm if he is challenged by an aggressive trialing. But if Morphling manages to survive, he will be able to outcarry everybody inside of Navi for the most part. Gyrocopter doesn't really have the best time against Morphling, just because Morphling can stand up and survive so long that his team can do a lot of damage. But still, Gyrocopter, if he manages to get something like a Rapier, he can deal with pretty much anybody. Just seeing if I have all the settings set up. It seems like I do. So introducing the players and teams, we're going to have Way Too Sexy, the captain of Dignitas, playing the Enchantress. Dignitas Fogged is going to be playing the Jakiro. Dang. Those shoutouts on Kuroki. Or those burns on Kuroki. So meanwhile, on the side of Dignitas, are going to have Universe playing his trademark hero, Darkseer. AUI 2000 is playing his Morphling, and Snaking is going to be controlling that Doombringer. Meanwhile, on the side of Navi, we're going to have Puppy playing Nyx Assassin, and as is standard, going to be pulling Dendi a bunch of regeneration, and is stuck with only a pair of Sentry Wards. So that means Navi not going to go offensive at all, since the supports have no regen whatsoever. And remaining for Navi, we have Avos playing the Gyrocopter. Dendi is going to be playing the mid-solo puck, Kuroki is playing the Visage, and Funnick is going to be handling that Bounty Hunter in the offlane. He was pulled a couple sets. Oh my god, Puppy. Just no mercy in regards to setting up his teammates with regeneration. because he recognizes if Enchantress comes in for a gank, then Funny could potentially die very, very easily. Since Dignitas, they have a burst damage nuke in the form of waveform, they have a lot of ways to crowd control the bounty hunter with Enchantress creeps, and of course the Jakiro Ice Bath does do a lot of work from a long range. So Funny being pulled a couple set of tangos as well as getting himself a boot speed will allow him to stay in the lane a lot more easily and might allow him to snipe some experience here and there. But we're gonna have to see how this decides to work out, since if Phonic does get shut down, Bounty Hunter, it's a hero that it's very difficult for him to come back unless now he does get out to a reasonable start. I mean, he can sort of come back if Dendy picks up fast dagger and gets a lot of track kills on the back of that, but still, he's not a good farmer, he's a single target farmer, and the way his team build him these days is just to go for pretty much all utility, which is phase, drums, Vlad's, BKB, items of that nature. So if Dignitas do a solid job in terms of shutting down the bounty hunter, they could have a reasonably good time. And this is very much Dignitas' playstyle. They like to sort of play passively, and Navi, not using the Visage in an aggressive trialing situation, might end up butting them in the ass a little bit. And we're going to see how this does decide to shape up, as the host gonna dive in, trying to cut off Universe. I don't know. I guess he's just scouting the high ground to see if anybody inside Dignitas were replacing Ward. But the Lucian is going to spawn in the top lane, and I think Navi, they want to set up a first blood attempt, and Dignitas don't have any knowledge of that just yet, but no, Navi are going to retreat back into their lanes. They know if Havost was missing from the top lane, it would be way too obvious. And Puppy going to help out his buddy in the middle lane for just a bit, just trying to hammer Snaking down as much as possible. But still, you can't really keep a good Doom down for too long, because he has Devour. He can always get his gold intake up to a reasonable degree, and since he did start with the Stout Shot, he will be able to mitigate some form of Dendy harassment. And that mana burn only doing 3.5 at level 1, not going to deal nearly as much damage to Doombringer and won't really drain too much of his Devour mana. So Snaking, once he hits level 2, he should be okay, but he should still theoretically lose this lane to the Puck, as Way Too Sexy going to come in with the Harpy Stormcall, going to spam that Chain Lightning and really annoy Dendy to no end. You can see how much damage Dendy has already taken. Really nice harassing creep being picked up by Way Too Sexy, as that Lightning can be cast so often for such a cheap mana cost. And at level 1 it does do quite a bit of damage, as Denny taking a lot of damage. One more Lightning could spell the end of him, and his salve might very well get cancelled, but no. Oh, what a play by Way Too Sexy, as he cancelled it and forced out the phase shift, and that's going to burn Dendy's salve. As Puppy's taking a lot of damage. Here comes the Scorched Earth, as Puppy could potentially be in a lot of trouble, but finally the Stormcaller does end up dying as well. Really nice micro by Way Too Sexy, as he managed to pay out Dendy's phase shift and then just went back in with that Stormcaller, canceled the salve, and that is going to mitigate a lot of harassment that Dendy can do, because now he's below half HP, and Snaking, since he wasn't dueling for the most of the time, and he is melee hero, will be able to get a slight experience advantage over Dendy. But still, Enchantress, I've got to mention, she won't be as lucky to get another Harpy the second time around, but if she does, she might even attempt to kill off Dendy on that middle lane. So really fortunate creep for Way Too Sexy, but he played that situation perfectly and allowed Snaking to get a foothold into this lane. But Dendy, since he did get a lot of regen pulled towards him, actually all of his regen is gone. He has not yet picked up the bottle because of all of that harassment. So on the back of Puck being a ranged hero and having reasonable base stats, she should still be able to control this lane quite admirably. But we're going to have to see, as the Satyr Tormentor going to come in, try to deal some shockwave harassment to Dendy and maybe force out some more regeneration. On the bottom lane, AUI just going to free farm, and there's pretty much nothing Funnick can do about it. Looks like Funnick has been able to get 4 CS and has been able to hit a pretty fast level 3 uncontested, and this is exactly what Bounty Hunter needs. He needs free experience, he needs some semblance of farm, and 4 CS is definitely not too shabby. He was forced to burn all of his tangos, but Dignitas have not yet, well, it looks like they have placed a Sentry Ward, made to deward the pull camp. I can't really see where that Sentry Ward was planted. Oh, it's planted right here next to AUI. So that is allowing AUI to control the lane. As long as he keeps the lane controlled around here, then it'll be difficult for Funnick to go in for last hits, but he can still sap experience, and that's pretty much all Bounty Hunter needs to do in this game. On the top lane, Navost already picked up the Ring of Basilius, so look for a push by Navi coming in relatively soon once the first siege unit creep does spawn in. As his shift key is broken, he's going to disconnect. Way Too Sexy, one of the nicest guys in all of Dota. But anyway, Hovost picked up that Ring of Basilis, going to pick up boot speed, likely pick up a Bracer as well, and then maybe go into the straight BKB build. I haven't really seen Hovost pick up Shadow Blade too often on Gyrocopter. He likes to get the Bracer into BKB, and that's usually what he decides to go for. Dang, gummy bear. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear.
Not yours.
Oh, Dignitas, you clowns. Meow Dandy gonna take a bit of harassment. Is gonna finally have his bottle, but Snaking, with his Devour, has actually been able to take a slight advantage in terms of the gold department. But Dandy has been able to take an expansive advantage just on the back of his 99s compared to Snaking's 4. And you can see Navi starting to threaten the push. They are going to pop the Ring of Basilis, and they're not using the Siege Wagon just yet. Instead, they relied on a stack of Kuroki to potentially get the Creep Wave amplified, and that is going to mean a gigantic Creep Wave coming towards the top lane. And Universe probably not going to rotate in. He's completely out of mana, and his tower will likely fall. This armor grants the creeps so much extra tank ability, and with 3 heroes way on this tower, despite them not having that strong of pushing abilities, they will be able to wear and tear down this tower. As it looks like the creep wave is pulled above, it's going to pop that flat cannon and immediately destroy these creeps. And this is precisely what Navi need to do. They need to free up some room for Dandy on the middle lane, need to free up some room for Funnick, and maybe force rotation by supports, but instead it's just going to Universe. I think Dignitas recognize that they can't defend this tower, especially with the Siege Wagon creep coming in, and so can't even, or Universe can't even attempt to go in for a Surge Deny just because there is stun. As Funnick getting very, very greedy, trying to get some CS stolen. Also trying to block off this double pull being stacked up by Fogged. Unfortunately, not being as lucky, and Fogged is still getting a decent chunk of experience. And Funnick almost at level 4, reasonable farm, but still not a good day for Funnick thus far. And we're going to have to see how Navi can set up these ganks. They're going to pull out the creepy Loom to avoid Universe getting way too much farm, but still getting that early tower kill is going to fuel Havos Flea's boots as well as May's Bracer purchase. As looks like Funnick did give up first blood. Let's see how that happened, everybody. So Funnick, he was trying to disrupt this double pull. I spy with my little eye. Bounty Hunter, oh, the Ice Path actually was perfectly placed by Fogged. As he managed to cut off Funnick, the Sentry Ward is going to be placed again, and Funnick actually going to give a first blood to AUI, so well played by Dignitas. Really, really strong Ice Path being placed by Fog, as Universe had the Surge on him, so he will be able to escape. And Puppy has 600 gold in the bank, will probably pick up the Boots of Speed, since the Bottle Crow has already been upgraded, as Meow Dendy gonna get a bit annoyed, take a slight amount of damage from the Scorched Earth, but still is gonna have a reasonable time in this lane nonetheless. Meanwhile, Dignitas is gonna come in with a numerous number of creeps, but they don't have any Sentry Ward, so Funnick will greatly appreciate this time to pick up some much needed experience. And there's really not too much Dignitas can do to threaten him out of the lane. They are gonna use the Ring of Basilis to try to get as much damage as possible, but I don't know. This looks to cost Dignitas quite a bit in terms of allowing Funnick to get himself back in the game, but still, it's not the biggest deal. They've still been able to keep up a relatively healthy experience lead over Funnick. I mean, AUI is at level 6, Fogged is level 5, so he's still a level ahead of Funnick, and it's all relative. And when Universe is the same level as the other offlaner, then you're doing alright, when your other heroes are so high leveled as well. But still, they don't want to give Funnick too much free experience, so they're going to pull the creep wave back and then look for Fog to once again do this Mud Golem pull and try to get as much experience as possible. And this is just the style that Dignitas is very much accustomed to playing, as Way Too Sexy going to come and use the Tornado to just annoy Denny to no end. But yeah, this is a style that Dignitas is very, very well accustomed to doing, and they have a very strong anti-carry in the form of Doom. I mean, Doom against Gyrocopter, it's not as bad a matchup compared to Doom versus other carries like Doom versus Anti-Mage, just because Gyrocopter does have the flat cannon, and as long as he gets it off, it won't be disabled by Doom. But still, a lot of magical damage is pumped through Gyrocopter's veins, and Gyrocopter is pretty squishy, so he can't really take advantage of the Doom harass, and his Funnick just gonna go to work, kill off Way Too Sexy, as Way Too Sexy, unfortunately for him, did die, and that is gonna be a very, very much needed kill for Funnick up on that bottom lane. And now Funnick is getting dangerously close to that level 6. But yeah, back to Doom. Doom is such a strong anti-carry, but instead of dooming Gyrocopter, because I think Morphling, until Gyrocopter gets some major DPS, should be able to handle the Gyrocopter with the help of the Darkseer. Doom will likely go down to Puck, and Puck is a hero who really relies on his mobility, but if he gets doomed, he's done. And that is just really, really unfortunate for Puck, since he is a hero that does his most work when he's not dead, and Doom will just make sure that you are dead. So I don't know, this might force Dendy into a Lincoln's hero purchase. I'm not too sure how Dendy will decide to approach this game. He will obviously try to base supports into getting doomed as much as possible, but no hero on Navi does want to get doomed. I mean, Banner wants to spam his tracks, Nick Assassin wants to spam his stuns and mana burns, and Visage wants to spam those soul assumptions. And I guess no hero in the game in general does want to get doomed, but I mean, if any hero on Saturday does get doomed, a lot of damage potential will be lost. Meanwhile, Havos just farming up. Universe just stuck in a very, very weird position. I guess he was trying to contest Havos for some extent, but Havos is just way too high leveled at this point. That Universe, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to actually get some farm, as Croaky does hit 06, so now the familiars are flying in. And we'll see if Havos will set up a missile attempt, as Universe will spot the familiars, and he will just be able to skate on out of there. And we're going to have to see if Dignitas are going to try to defend this tower. They have a siege wagon going up against them, so they will be forced to rotate his support. Ion Shell will simply not be enough. His cooldown will just barely miss, but keep in mind the familiars take 97.5% damage reduction from spells. Snaking on the middle lane, gonna find himself Dream Cold. Funnick will get the track off, but Snaking just so tanky. It's very, very hard, and Dundee couldn't land an orb, nor could he land a rift, and they're just gonna ban the gank. And meanwhile, the ward is gonna be dewarded, as it seems like Dignitas were very much waiting for that gank. They had a Sentry in the middle lane, they dewarded the Observer ward, and Snaking survived the first Dream Coil, which is so difficult to escape from, especially against 3 people coming his way. Denny just gonna skate on up to the top rune, and we are gonna see a rotation to attempt the kill onto Universe. Puppy does have the boot speed, but Surge just makes Darkstar move way too fast, and he will be able to escape on out of there. And this tower is still at above half HP, so Dignitas can still feasibly defend this. AUI going to work on that bottom tier 1 tower. It will inevitably fall unless Navi does rotate themselves in, but I'm sure Navi are more than happy to trade a tier 1 for a tier 2 in this situation. But we are going to see TP from Fogged, and he has a lot of range from Takira. Snaking going to come in, does get the Doom up, but is taking so much damage. He will actually be the first one to fall, but the Ice Path landed on 2 heroes, and Universe will hunt down Puppy. Vost will die as well, and Croaky trying to do as much damage as he can, just simply can't do enough. Croaky going to move out of trouble, but nice micro. The Familiars will throw down another Soul Assumption, but does he have enough mana to throw down one more? He might have been able to use that time to escape, as Way Too Sexy going to come in with the Hellbear Smasher. And that Smasher smash faces as Puck gonna come in, but Jakiro just so tanky. The Familiar's just gonna keep an eye on Jakiro as long as possible. But Universe gonna cast the Vacuum. Dendy taking a lot of damage from Ion Shell. Fogged will end up dying, but Dendy could be in a lot of trouble. The Puck Dream Coil will be cast on Universe, as Dendy's bottling up. He wants to go back in to try to kill off Universe, as the Familiar's trying to be microed. He will get the silence off on Universe, as Universe will most likely die, but no, the heal from Way Too Sexy does come in. Now Way Too Sexy gonna be in a lot of trouble, because the Familiars did heal up all of the damage from being stunned in. Dendy, solo in terms of HP, will he get killed off? A couple more hits? No, just not enough damage, as Dendy managed to pick up a huge amount of experience in that gank. But still, a really, really chaotic fight that did favor Navi in the end, since I guess Puck picked up a lot of experience, picked up a couple of kills, and they managed to get themselves back in the kill department. Well, it was 3-3 when everything was said and done, but they got a track kill. What's concerning is that AUI is just like, whatever guys, I'll keep farming. And a farmed Morphling is just, you can't mess with the farm Morphling, it's so hard. He's going to be next to unkillable once he does get that Lincoln Sphere online. And once he starts building some DPS, with all the armor he gains, he's just going to be incredibly annoying to deal with. So it was a victory for Navi, but they still have to be very, very cautious, and they weren't able to take down the tier 2 tower. Dignitas were able to defend it, and coming up with an even trade in terms of kills, despite giving up a track kill, is going to benefit them in the end. Meanwhile, Funnick looking to set up a gank is level 8. Boots, Wand, as well as a bottle, as Way Too Sexy will likely be the target. AY is full HP as well as full mana, and you can see that 3.5 mana burn just not doing nearly as much. Dream Coil going to be dropped in Way Too Sexy. They will be able to get another track heal, but now they have to get on out of there, as Fog just going to come in with the Ice Path. AY morphed a bit of his HP to strength, as Funnick will be in a lot of trouble. He's trapped between a Morphling and a Jakiro, as the Centaur is going to block on the Centaur. Not able to get this off, since track is going to amplify the Moose Bit, but Universe is there on the rotation. Will pick up kill. Denny going to come in with Wind Rift, going to silence up Universe. Here comes Hog with the macro power, going to cut off the retreat of Navi, but still Vos is going to come in doing a lot of edge. AY just trying to get on out of there. If he dies, that could be a huge loss for Dignitas. But now Snaking is here, and he's at full HP. He's doing so much work. AUI going to come back in, trying to get as many last hits as possible. Havost going to be driven away. A couple more right clicks could spell the end of Havost, and he will end up dying. The Familiar is just forced to fly on out of there. So good engagement being taken by Dignitas. Did Way Too Sexy buy back? No, it doesn't look like he did. He just didn't use much HP, nor did he use that much mana. And now Dignitas definitely ahead after that victory, because AUI was able to survive as Morphlings just do better than any other carry in the game. Snaky came in, picked up a lot of experience, picked up a lot of gold as well, and Way Too Sexy himself picked up a lot of experience. Meanwhile, Navi Havost died once again. He's going to go for the BKB rush, and he's still out-farming AUI despite going a bit more aggressively, but those deaths really going to cost him. And Dendi, he had the dagger, or he just picked up the dagger, I think. But we'll have to see if they can set up a gank. Snaking going to take a bit of double damage rest, and that's going to prompt Dendi to go, and Snaking will definitely die. AUI going to come back in, but here comes the Vacuum Wall. Universe already picking up a level into wall. Level 9, not really the latest or earliest wall, but still a wall nonetheless. And Dendi going to be watching. He has the Blink Dagger. He should be able to escape, and he will do just that. But Navi going to rotate all their forces in. Funnick leading the charge. And Dignitas don't have any vision of this, so Fog will get himself tracked up. Navi going with a really aggressive lap. They're going to pick up another track kill. I believe that's the third in the game. And that's going to help Navi immensely. If Bounty Hunter manages to hit level 11 and get some more track kills, and that could give Navi huge advantage, but still, I'm worried for them. AUI is just so difficult to bring down. And Doom's only going to get stronger and stronger. I mean, level 11 Doom. Will we even see an Aghanim Scepter Doom? Likely not, since I mean, you need an Aghanim Scepter, and for a 110-second cooldown ultimate, it might not be worth it. And Navi, they don't really have the tankiest lineup. I don't know, we might see an Aghanim Scepter. It appears unlikely, but who knows. Dignitas do some weird stuff. I'm gonna expect Dignitas snaking to build into some tanky items. Maybe go for a fast Shiva's Guard, maybe even a Blade Mail. Rod of Atos could be a possibility as well. You know, AUI getting dangerously close to Lincoln Sphere as Visage has the replica up on him. AUI going to come in with Waveform, trying to clear out as many creeps as possible, but he's going to find himself silenced up. And that was a very, very greedy move by AUI. He had no vision on the heroes inside of Navi, aside from these two heroes, and he just charged into them. He's saying, alright, I have replica, I can get myself out of there. And boy, did he regret that decision. But luckily for AUI, he didn't lose that much gold. He already picked up his ultimate just then, and I don't think he lost too much in Lincoln Sphere gold. But still, he's out of the picture for the next 30 seconds, and this might prompt a push on the bottom lane for Navi. Meanwhile, Havost, farming at the middle lane, is going to make his way towards that fast BKB like I previously mentioned, and only Doom does go through the BKB.
Top tower is under attack.
But still, it's going to be very, very useful, especially against Impetus, Ice Path, Vacuum, Waveform, Adaptive Strike. BKB is definitely a high priority for Havost in this game. And looks like Dignitas not going to bother defending this tower. Instead, they're going to go for a trade on the top tier 1, and they will be able to bring it down.
Bottom tower has fallen.
With this tower, definitely going to give Navi a lot more map control in terms of securing themselves Rush. Although the middle tower is still up for Dignitas, and that's really the main tower you need to fortify yourself, or teleport yourself into for a Roshan engagement. Meanwhile, Dignitas, with that tower kill, they might be able to get some aggressive wards down and start taking control of the jungle, but still, it is a bit risky, and playing risky is not really Dignitas' style. As Navi going to work for the tier 2, Dignitas should try to defend this. They have the wall, they have all their ultimates online, but they don't have the glyph, and this tower is dying very, very quickly, and Dignitas, they're going to be very slow in the rotation. A multitude of teleports will be enough to drive Navi away, as good micro by Kroki going to allow Navi to escape successfully, as well as get the tower still outside of... No, it is in deny range. Ooh, the Siege Wagon brought it into deny range, and that could be a big problem for Navi, as they are going to give... Well, it's not a big problem, but it's still annoying nonetheless. And this might force Navi to fight into engagement that they don't really want to go for. I'm a bit surprised Dignitas have not already denied it, but they're clearly trying to bait it out, as the tower going to attack, and Dignitas are fully aware what's happening. They're not going to get the tower deny. Not too sure why they didn't just deny it. It's probably going to come in with an Impale. The track, as well as the Shuriken, will be used. Nice familiar micro, as Puck has not even used his Dream Coat. Where is the Puck? Puck, Dendi just so far behind. But still, Navi got the tower. In exchange for an AUI tower, I think Dignitas, they're not too pleased with that trade, but they can live with it, since AUI did get the last hit on the middle tower. Fucking Java, swear to god, disrupting my casts. But still, a good tower being taken for Navi. Once they get this tier 1 middle, then they will have complete control over this Roshan area. And Funnick is starting to get his farm going. Well, he's still very far behind, make no bones about that. He's going to finish his drums. Havost has to finish his BKB. We'll have to see what he decides to go for. Will it be... I'm not sure. Honestly, don't really know. Might go for Helmet Dominator to stack Ancients, because his team is always with him. Although they can potentially use the Familiars to stack Ancients, but still, Familiars, they can die to the Ancients once the Ancients are stacked a bit too much. So I'm not too sure what Havost will go for next. It likely won't be a Shadow Blade, since he won't really be able to out-push or out-split push a Morphling with the Linketeer, likely already finished. And yes, that was the item choice for AUI. He did finish the Linketeer, and that means he can just spam Morphling waveform freely and push down these creep waves in a blink of an eye. Checking out the items, Medallion has been picked up on Kuroki, so they can go for Roshan when they please, and they will be able to take it down reasonably quickly. Puppy, just with Arcane Boots as well as an Urn, so he's been able to get himself a reasonable amount of farm because of all those tower kills. Inside Dignitas, Blink Dagger was the choice for snaking, and he picked up the Centaur War Stomp. So now he can blink and get a nice duration stun. I mean, 2-second hero stun is definitely not too shabby, but Dignitas gonna get this Roshan, as I think Universe did spot out one of the heroes on the side Dignitas moving or on Navi moving to and fro. As here comes the Blinking by snaking, does manage to get a huge stomp off, will immediately kill off of Osis. Here comes the vacuum wall combination, as Navi is just gonna be in a lot of trouble in this Roshan fight. Dendy, or Funnick gonna die. Dendy trying to do work as Puck does pick up the Aegis, and they did manage to get the last hit on Roshan. Dendy will end up dying. The wall was just put in such a key location. Most was surviving, gonna pop his BK, try to do as much damage as possible again. Puppy on the backline, dishing out the DPS as well, as Dendy is gonna respawn. They will be able to pick up a track kill, and they will kill off Universe as well. So in the end, Havost buyback and Visage dying. Did Puppy buyback? I don't think he did. I guess that is worth it for Navi. With one buyback, they lost the Aegis and they lost Visage, but they killed pretty much everybody else, and that wall was in a pretty solid location. And Snaking managed to get a really damn good initiation off. But the unfortunate thing for Snaking, he wasn't able to get the Doom off. And if he managed to get the Doom off, I think he was waiting to use on Puck after the Aegis was expired, but at that point he was sort of forced into a corner. He was driven away, so Navi taking huge control of this game, managed to mow down this middle tower, and now AUI not really as free to farm wherever he wants. Is Puppy gonna go right back into the mechanism? Dandy gonna go straight into a Hex. I like this choice because hexing Snaking before he can get the Doom off, or hexing Darkseer is gonna be so crucial. And Navi managed to get a couple, or one track kill at the very least. As Sentry Ward is gonna be planted, Dandy gonna take a lot of damage, way too sexy, will survive. No, one last hit from Puck, will pick up the kill. But Puck gonna give a huge sweep to Doom. 700 gold, and Funnick gonna die as well. Definitely not worth it for Dignitas. And they paid for their lack of vision. They went in with 2 heroes. One of those heroes had a giant streak on his head, and they paid for it. They got a tri-kill, but definitely not worth it for Navi. And now with Puck out of the picture, he can buy back if he really needs to, but I don't think that will be in Dendy's best interest. He wants to get that Hex up ASAP, and using that buyback will definitely hurt him in getting that up. And Navos, since he did die in buyback, he's going to pick up the Helmet Dominator to stack some Ancients, try to get his farm back to where it needs to be, and he's still farming AUI by a significant degree because, I mean, Gyrocopter in general can farm faster than them until he gets Linketeer. He picked up the Linketeer, I guess, 7 minutes ago, but still, Havos's farm was a lot more impressive. But yeah, he's going to catch him very quickly because Morphling, he can always push in, have a replicate with his team, and join a team fight at any situation. Similar to a Spectre, meanwhile Gyrocopter not going to be as lucky, and he was already forced to use a buyback. So now with the Helmet Dominator, it's likely that Havos will pick up something like a Butterfly or an MKB to sort of give him some damage burst. He still has a 9-second BKB charge, I do believe, so it's good that he's holding on to his BKB charges at this point. He's not looking for too many team fights, because he will definitely need the BKB as this game goes on. I mean, Doom, it goes through BKB, it does annoy Havos, but there's still a lot of damage to consider outside the BKB, or outside of the Doom, that BKB can potentially negate, so you need to hold on to it as long as possible. Way Too Sexy trying to make his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. Is still very far away, just trying to bulk up as much as possible. Fogged, no mechanism. Universe has the mechanism, that's why. Not too sure what this item for Universe will be. It might be a Force Death, it might be an Aghanim's, and Aghanim's in this game, not too sure. It could work, it could potentially not work. Since not too many heroes on the side of Navi built towards stat building items, as Dignitas gonna smoke themselves up, and they're looking to pick off a hero. They will be able to get a successful smoke egg if Navi remain around, as Navi themselves gonna smoke up, but Denny's not near them. And Navi, I think this is a bit of a lucky situation for them, because they're gonna be able to smoke up right past and dodge out of the way for a gank. Way Too Sexy gonna break the smoke. I think Navi properly realized that Dignitas smoked out, because why would Enchantress be solo farming without any creeps, without his allies being close nearby? And Navi gonna rotate themselves in. They're gonna spot out AUI, but AUI will just be able to waveform out of there. Immediately starting to morph into strength. He is gonna get a multi teleports to back him up. The Manbird doing a lot of work, snaking in a Blade Gate, but he did get stunned by Spike Carapace since he preemptively popped the Scorcher. Who did he get the Doom down onto? I don't know. He got it down to Vos, but you can see Vos still tanking up, still doing a decent amount of damage, and he will be able to survive the Wrath of Doom for now, but stood in the macro power for way too long. Does pick up Fog, but he is gonna trade his life in order to kill off the Jakiro. Definitely not worth it for a Vost, as now AUI will be on the chase, is going to be able to kill off Kuroki, as the Doom going to come in, does with the stomp, as Kuroki is so damn tanky. A Soul Assumption will be thrown on Doombringer's way, but still, the Iron Shell in conjunction with Doom's damage output will be able to pick up the kill. Dandy going to die once again. The Manbird coming in from Puppy, but simply not enough damage to kill off AUI 2000. Funnick trying to man fight it out against Way Too Sexy, will pick up another track kill, likely. Oh my god, Untouchable! What a spell! Way Too Sexy maxing that Untouchable, and it paid off in spades right there. It prevented Bounty Hunter from getting a really desperately needed track kill, and Dignitas once again winning a team fight as Navi overextended. Then they just imploded in that team fight. Avos wanted to go for the kill on Jakiro, but Navi were just like, fuck that, we want to get the fuck out of here. And they left Avos by himself, and Avos, they didn't really have much damage. They cleaned up some heroes, but in the end of the day, AUI, still with only one death, is going to build into the shotgun build. And once it gets that, I mean, there's really not too much magical damage on the side of Navi to really be afraid of. And you saw Puppy got as many mana burns as he possibly could get off in that team fight, but the Linkets here just regened up his mana so much that AUI was able to get a lot of Morph HP off, and now he's hit level 16, so that replicate lasts even longer. Meanwhile, Dendy dying again, gonna really slow down his Hex farm, as he will be able to bottle up a Haste Rune. He's gonna be around 1k away from finishing that Hex, but still, these deaths have really cost him. And Funnick, this is the problem with Bounty Hunter. If you don't really get off to a good start, it's difficult to get yourself back in the game. I still think Navi have a really good job taking this game, but they're in a very difficult position, since it's very difficult for them to actually kill off Morphling. And BKB times on Havoster are starting to wear down. You know, Snaking gonna come in the Iron Shell. They won't be able to spot out Funnick since they do not have a gem. They are gonna play Sentry, and they will be able to spot out Funnick, but Funnick is gonna get off the track and does manage to dodge out of the Ice Path. Very fortunate for Funnick, as he probably saw the Sentry Wards up on the Heroes of Dignitas God track, and then managed to motor on out of there. So Darkseer indeed picked up a Force Staff to help repel people away from Visage, as well as Call Down and Dream Coil. I mean, the Dream Coil will still snap, but better to be as far away from your opponents as possible rather than just run around in circles in the Dream Coil. You know, AY, about 900 gold away from finishing that E-Blade. And you can see he's not taking any chances, has a lot of his HP morphed to strength as opposed to trying to clear up some ancient stacks, and you can see his farm to his slow down tremendously. 4, and 4, and keep in mind, he did buy back once, and that helped mitigate a lot of his gold. And now AY is going to be relatively close to net worth because of that buyback, and with Havos dying so many times, that even though Havos has a higher GPM as well as a higher CS value, the net worth is relatively even. And Dignitas, they are missing one tower, and they didn't take the Roshan either. Taking a look at the gold graph, ever so slightly in favor of Navi because of that extra tower as well as that extra Roshan. Experience graph ever so slightly in favor of Navi as well. but I feel like Dignitas' heroes just scale a lot better in comparison to Navi, because Doom is still going to be a problem. Now it's BKB, and he was already difficult to bring down. Now he's going to be even more difficult to bring down. And look for him to pick up a Shiva's Guard or an AC relatively soon. Well, not relatively soon, but that will be his next item purchase, most likely. Way Too Sexy making his way towards the Aghanim Scepter fogged. Just Arcane Boots. Looks like he's being the primary warder while Way Too Sexy does build up towards this relatively expensive item for support. Gyrocopter going to pick up the Demon Edge, so he is going to go into that MKB rather than go for the Butterfly. I'd prefer Butterfly to deal with AUI, but Doom negates evasion, so getting as much damage as possible is a better way to go about it. It's difficult to say up against a Doombringer. I'm not too sure what the correct item choice is. I guess Monkey King Bar, considering that Doom does negate evasion, does make a lot of sense in the end. You know, Puppy has the mechanism in place, so now they have that extra bit of healing that they might have been missing in the teamfight. Kuroki trying to build his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. Dendi does have the set device just recently finished, and we'll see if Navi looks to take an engagement. They will have the Mytho Hammer up on Phonic, so he's going to make his way towards BKB, but they can't really afford to wait around too much longer, because, I mean, AUI is getting farmed. He has the E-Blade, and now once he makes his way towards the Butterfly or Manta style, his damage, his auto attack damage will be absolutely phenomenal. He'll likely make his way towards the Butterfly because of the shotgun build, and those one-shots can pretty much bring down Puppy in an instant, assuming he can't get the Spike Carapace down. Just checking out the score. Dendi playing pretty well, but overall the score is relatively even, and you can see AUI 1, 1, and 10. This is a score that he's very fine with doing because he's farming up, he's getting more and more powerful. Net worth, again, in favor of Gyrocopter because Gyrocopter can clear the Ancients, and the Tower and Roshan will give him a slight advantage, but you can see Navi in a bit of a quandary. They can't really engage against Dignitas because they have not too many reliable ways to lock the Darkseer down. Snake is going to surge himself in. The Scorcher will cancel the dagger up on Dendi, but Dendi going to pop the haste rune. Will go in. Where is the engagement happening? Havo's taking so much damage. Will pop the BK, trying to lifesteal as much as possible. He's completely by himself. Oh man, where is the communication in that engagement? As Navi were not there to back up his carry player, as Phonic gonna get doomed in, and now he's completely revealed, gonna pop another Santor. He'll die, Denny gonna get a good silence off, does manage to get Dream Claw off, does kill off Snaking, but still, just Doom in exchange for BKB usage and a death on the Gyrocopter, not worth it thus far. Fogged, taking a lot of damage from the urn, but Puppy, all his mana has now been expended, gonna pop the mechanism. Fogged will die to Dendi, as Iris gonna come back in, he's gonna be able to get another Hex off. Dendi will, as Universe will actually die. He does get himself Hexed up, but AUI still doing a lot of damage in the background. Will be able to secure the kill on Nyx's Assassin. And in this chaotic engagement, Dignitas is definitely coming out ahead because their main carry is surviving. He's getting a couple kills here and there. And what's really unfortunate for Navi is that I think they could have potentially won that engagement if they just communicate with Havost a little bit better. Because in the end it was a 3-for-3 engagement. Havost used another BK. He did next to nothing in that team fight when everything was said and done. And now the BKB is ticking downwards and downwards, and now Morphling has catapulted himself to the top of the net worth chart despite being outfarmed by 50 CS. So Navi still have shown they can really contest the team fight quite well if they manage to get the backup needed to protect Havost. And assuming, I mean, it's not just Havost charging in, I've got to assume it's just a miscommunication. I can't really believe that Havost will just charge in all these times just saying, here guys, come kill me, Rambo style. I mean, it is Havost, so who knows, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt in this situation. But still, lackluster communication, lackluster positioning by Navi is costing them quite a bit in this game, as Snakey gonna once again blink himself in. He's gonna pop the BKB, as here comes a vacuum wall, gonna get everybody inside of Navi. What a wall being placed by Universe, as Meow Phonic will die. He's gonna be forced to buy back, as once again Dendi does get off a pretty nice Dream Call. Where his Havost, that is where my attention is. He's gonna die to AUI, who did hunt him down once again. And this should be a Roshan being picked up for Dignitas. Enchantress even managed to kill off Puck. This is looking grimmer by the second for Navi, as AUI gonna morph all, or a lot of his stats into agility to get the armor value up, as well as increase his attack speed to bring down Roshan, as Kuroki microing his familiars, but AUI just attacks way too fast, kills off Roshan, and even gets familiar for his troubles. Now Navi looking in a very, very grim situation. So so surprised that now he tried to sneak a Roshan up against a Darkseer. And Puppey gonna get Spike Carapace will reflect the E-Blade burst charge, but still, he's gonna die nonetheless. It's just not gonna be a good skate for Puppey under any circumstance. And Dignitas, they'll probably back off after taking this tier 2. Universe doesn't have enough HP to, or enough mana to push in. Although, no, it looks like they are gonna attempt it. Havos and Puck are still dead, but I guess it's just AY chipping out this tower while the rest of Dignitas rotate themselves towards this bottom lane. And they will be able to get this bottom tower relatively easily. I can't imagine Navi will contest this. And you can see Havos, despite farming so well, MKB has just been sorely delayed. Medstyle will be finished on it before Havos does finish that MKB. And this is the point in the game where Navi, it's just looking very, very good for them, as now Darkseer, he has a Ghost Scepter as well, so he's just really, really worried on protecting himself. But if he manages to pick up something like a Blink Dagger, he could get those fights like he did at Roshan anywhere on the map for the most part. Those vacuum walls have just been on point. And with the crowd control of the Centaur Stomp as well as Jakiro's Ice Path combination, that's such an annoying combination to deal with for a team like Navi when they only have one BKB on their side. Vacuum into Ice Path just locks their whole team in place for a bit. They're taking a lot of dual breath damage, they're taking waveform damage, they're taking scorched earth damage. I mean, Darkseer, Jakiro, I mean, those guys are pretty much best friends forever. I guess you could say that for Darkseer plus anybody, but Darkseer and Jakiro in particular just synergize so damn well. Experience in Golgoth favoring Dignitas quite a bit. And you can see AY has now been able to catapult himself to the tops of the GPM chart. Meanwhile, Snake gonna blink in, does get Denny with the Doom, gonna dodge the Impel with a BKB usage. Denny not taking as much damage as Snaking would hope, but he will end up dying. The Iron Shell just doing way too much as Doom does pick up the last hit, and now AI gonna go in, getting the E-Blade off onto Kuroki. Did already use the waveform as Kuroki just so tanky, but will inevitably die towards Universe's Iron Shell. Now he's gonna find himself stunned. He will be having to use, or he will be forced to use the BKB right here. He's gonna turn his attentions back onto Dignitas, but he's just not having enough backup with him. Instead, he's gonna back. He will teleport himself in with the Dream Coil, but Havos will die. He does kill off Snaking, but AY is still just running around, not being touched. Good recovery by Navi when everything's said and done, but they lost the gyrocopter again, and they got Puck to buyback, so it's not the worst thing in the world for Dignitas. And Navi, we'll see what they decide to do. They still have it in them to win this game. I mean, Vost has finished the MKB finally, and now if he starts building his way towards Titanic, he can actually be pretty bit difficult to bring down, since the only source of burst damage on the side of Dignitas is really AUI, and when he AUI bursts you, he won't be attacking you physically for a bit, and that means Havos could theoretically get himself back up to full HP relatively easily, unless Snaking gets the Doom off onto him. But that is a big if.
Greetings.
Medstyle has been finished on AY. He will likely make his way towards the butterfly since he did go for the E-Blade route, trying to buff up his agility as much as possible. It's definitely going to be the goal for AY in these next couple of minutes, and having that evasion going to be pretty useful against the likes of Funnick, Visage, everybody but Havost, I guess. Funnick has finally picked up the BKB, but Bounty Hunter's just not been able to do anything. He's just a track and a shuriken. That's pretty much it. And I don't know. I think it's just the way people build Bounty Hunter. I don't know if drums is the best option, but it does give enough mana, so it's so difficult because you don't really want to farm out the Bounty Hunter, but in some situations you are sort of forced to do just that, just because he's pretty much useless outside of track if he does get behind. Meanwhile, Kuroki about 450 gold away from finishing the Aghanims. It's questionable how much impact it will have, but having that extra bit of damage from the familiar as well as having that extra bit of stun, never gonna go amiss. And Dignitas, they're gonna push in. They know the Aegis is timing out relatively soon, and they want to make use of their advantage as best they possibly can. And that's why they're pushing at precisely this moment. Snaky gonna go into a Shivers on AC. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be an AC because he wants to have the minus armor on buildings as well as the minus armor on the entirety of Navi. but Chivas could be an option as well. I mean, I don't think snaking necessarily needs more mana than he already has. Meanwhile, AY with the replicate. I think he's anticipating the Aegis timing out, and Dignitas actually won't push in with the Aegis. They're just going to try to get themselves further and further ahead with their map control, and now AY is starting to get that additional farm of farming the enemy team's jungle. And I can see Avos forced to play so defensively is just going to be farming one lane of creeps while the entire Dignitas just farm elsewhere on the map. And Puppey, he's going to vendetta himself up, but the vacuum going to come in. He will be able to escape for now. That E-Blade one-shot combination was not executed by AY properly, but keep in mind, I mean, it's not his fault because he can't really cast spells in waveform like you could previously do. That was one of the major nerfs to shotgun morphling in the TI2 era. But still, it's not going to be the biggest loss for Dignitas. They didn't use any major spells, and they drove Puppey away. Then you're just going to push out the waves. They just want to delay long enough where they could potentially get themselves a Roshan, but Snaking going to blink in with the stomp once again. Here comes Ice Belt as well as Dual Breath, and now the Iron Shell will mean the end of Kuroki. Actually, the impetus dealt the finishing blow, and now Snaking, he wants more. These wards by Dignitas really controlling the jungle excellently, and they are just putting Navi into a corner that's very, very difficult to get themselves out of at this point. So Vost, I think his next item choice will be either a Butterfly or a Satanic. I think it'll probably be a Satanic since he wants to survive, because surviving has been his main issue, and Satanic in the end will give you more survivability as Puppey. Just looking to annoy AY, it appears like, but he will be able to replicate himself back up to the top lane. He doesn't even bother to go back to base. He actually bought himself an ultimate orb, so I guess he won't go for the Butterfly. He's instead going to go for the Scotty. He wants to have the extra stats to play around with, and the Soul definitely going to be very useful since it does go through the Gyrocopter BKB and reduces attack speed as well as, you know, the movement speed, which is the main reason why you do pick up the Scotty, as well as the stats for Morphling. Never going to be a bad purchase. And he will have the Scotty finish relatively soon, in about 1200 gold. And you can see at this rate, Dignitas are just going to be climbing further and further ahead just because they're able to farm much more of the map in comparison to Navi. And the experience graph telling a similar tale. You can see the offlaner on the side of Navi, not even level 16, meanwhile the offlaner on the side of Dignitas, 3 levels ahead. It's all about relativity, and in all aspects of relativity, Dignitas seem to have the advantage, apart from their supports, I suppose. Hello's holding on to a lot of gold. Good to see for buyback. They know they need to take this next Roshan. If our AUI manages to get himself an HC, literally will be unkillable. And this next Roshan will spawn with the cheese as well. So Snaking could potentially pick himself up a nice hunk of cheddar to boost up his HP pool as well as boost up his impact in the team fight. He can just go ham with those level deaths, and those level deaths actually scale really, really well to the late game since the percentage damage to maximum HP is just really, really useful once you do hit that late game stage.
Afterburners.
But Snaking has finished the AC. Any more item purchases? Fog just finally picked up a gem to try to kill off Puppey, as well as look at the ward coverage for Navi. It's just completely non-existent. If you switch the vision to Navi side, they are not seeing anything. It's just very, very scary for them at this point. Universe gonna make his way towards the Hex. We'll have it up in about 1100 gold. So I think Dignitas gonna finish the Hex, go for the next Roshan, and then in the game. Or if next Roshan respawns, they'll wait for the Hex to be done before they end the game. They want to go in with all their guns blazing before they try to break the base of Navi. Since Navi is annoying to push in against, Puck is just ever so annoying to deal with, and it looks like Roshan will respawn before Universe does get close to the Hex. As Puppey going in with Spike Carapace, but just gets immediately obliterated. Going to force Snaking, uses BK, is now Havos gonna find himself chased down. Doombringer gonna get himself tracked up, but he will be able to get stunned off onto Havos very soon. He's gonna get stunned himself by Kuroki, but the impetus is being thrown from downtown by way 2 that increased range from the Agnum Scepter, helping him out tremendously. And now Navi in full retreat. Snaking gonna have a bit of trouble stunning, as Gyrocopter is forced to buy back. They need to defend the middle barracks, but still a good engagement. Puppey probably suspected something was up because, I mean, I think I guess he couldn't really know if Fogged had a gem or not because they had no vision. And I don't know if Fogged was really positioning himself into a position where he could have that gem revealed. So now he found out the hard way, and they paid for it. And now they're going to take down Roshan. There's nothing Navi can do to contest this because they're still facing its wall. Look at Funnick!
Roshan has fallen to the radiant.
Bro. That's what Funnick is saying to way too sexy. You could see AY has now finished the Scotty as, oh, Dendy gonna initiate with the Dream Coil, does manage to catch a lot of Navi. Fogged will be the first one to fall. Bounty does pick up the last hit. AY getting brought down to relatively low HP, but AY just so damn tanky, gonna pop the Manta style, and he still has the Aegis as well. Dendy could potentially be out of trouble. Universe is out of mana, as now Vos will be hunted down, and post device, keep in mind he won't buy back, he will get enchanted up by Way Too Sexy, and Way Too Sexy will kill off Vos. Vos is dead for the next 80 seconds. And this is definitely going to be at least 2 sets of barracks and could potentially be the game for Dignitas. Dendy just trying to do everything he possibly can to prolong the game, but Dignitas, they have their eyes on the prize, and their prize will be this game 1 of the best of 3 series. And I don't think Navi can stop him. Pavos is just going to be dead for the next 50 seconds. Almost a complete one-shot onto Funnick. And I think Funnick had around 1700 HP or so. I'm just guessing wildly. Snaking going to find himself hexed up. Snaking doesn't have the cheese, nor does he have the Aegis. Who actually picked up the cheese? I'm not too sure. I'm guessing it was already used, as everybody on the side of Dignitas getting very long HP, and actually Navi, they're going to defend the barracks against all odds. What a defense, and now Host will be respawning in about 30 seconds. Wow, really strong composed defense from Navi, as Navi's almost Chinese-esque, defending against 5 heroes on the side of Dignitas without their primary farmer. But Dignitas, they're just gonna wait. Universe will finish his Hex, and now he has enough mana to use all his abilities. That was the big problem with Darkseer. Once he ran out of mana, it was just difficult for him to regen up, but now you will be able to use all of his abilities very frequently. Enchantress picks up a Vlad's amplifying damage, and keep in mind, the side of Dignitas, they still have the Aegis online for AUI, so they can go in a bit aggressively. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter, since he did buy back, he's going to be very far away from finishing the next item. Likely won't save back, since that 3-minute or that 1 extra minute nerf to the buyback actually does hurt carries a bit more than anticipated, and of us will be forced to buy out. Navi, they want to fight outside their base because they know if they lose a fight on their side of the map, they're gonna likely lose the game. At least this way, even if they lose the fight on the other side of the map, they might not lose the game on the back of it. But still, it's looking very grim, as Navi will be forced to defend. They just couldn't find the right angle to approach, and Funnick is going to be dead. He already bought back previously, so he's going to be dead for the next 50 seconds. And not having that extra maneuverability of track is going to be cursed, but Navi, they look to take the fight up the high ground, but just couldn't find a suitable location to initiate, as Snaking gonna come in, gonna pop the BKB, didn't use the Doom, but will force a response BKB by Vost, and that won't be up for the next team fight. So that's going to be very unfortunate for Vost, but I don't think that actually would have mattered. As Impetus gonna be used. I guess it missed uphill. As AUI gonna find himself hexed up, gonna take half HP in terms of damage, but Snaking gonna come in, working people with that Doom. Does go on Dendy, mitigating Dendy's impact in this game. Puck will be buying back, but Vost has already died. There goes the majority of Navi's physical DPS, and the majority of their DPS in general. Kuroki will be the next one to fall. Dendy gonna come in with Ring Rip, gonna burn the Aegis on AUI, but Dendy is gonna die once again. GG is called by Navi, as Dignitas played a really strong game number 1, and now he's definitely gonna be feeling a bit concerned, as I think they just couldn't really drive Dignitas away from the game plan. AUI died once as a hard carry in this 45-minute game, albeit it is Morphling who just is the most survivable carry in general, but still, only dying once against Navi's relatively aggressive lineup in a relatively action-packed game. Very impressive. So, Navi gotta be feeling a bit concerned. We'll see how they approach the next ban phase. They might ban out Universe's Darkseer in Game 2, but still, we'll have to wait and see, as Dignitas 1 game away from moving on to the semifinals, and Navi, will they finally lose or win a Dreamhack, or will they be sent home as usual? We're gonna have to find out very soon, so thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.